What's up, guys? Welcome back to the MontyVerse, and today is a very special day because we are starting a brand new series on the channel. Nikki, what show are we about to watch?
We are about to watch Nickelodeon's Avatar: The Last Airbender.
It is a show that we both love. The live-action series is debuting on Netflix early next year, and we wanted to rewatch the series, and what better way to do it than with you guys? So we decided to check out Avatar: The Last Airbender from the beginning.
I'm excited because I remember watching it as a kid when it first aired on Nickelodeon. It's been a while since I've rewatched it, but I'm excited to revisit it.
Yeah, I think the last time I watched it was like 3 or 4 years ago, kind of when it blew up again during the pandemic. So I'm super excited. It's one of my favorite shows of all time. I cannot wait to watch this series again.
I think it's fair to say it's possibly one of the best shows of all time at
Absolutely.
this rate.
I think the argument could be made and has been made by a lot of people, but we could praise the show all day long. Let's jump into it. Nikki, are you ready?
I am ready.
All right, guys, starting episode 1 of Avatar: The Last Airbender right now.
Water. Earth.
Classic.
It is classic.
Between the Water Tribes, Earth Kingdom, Fire Nation, and Air Nomads.
I love the lore of this show so much.
Nation attacked.
Why am I laughing at that?
Because it's a pun.
It's a meme.
It's a meme.
Mastered all 4 elements. Only he could stop the roof.
I mean, I think what makes the lore great is that it's perfectly explained in a very simplistic but all-encompassing way.
Yes.
Because obviously a lot of children are watching this too.
Yeah.
Leaving me and my brother to look after our tribe.
Sokka, the goat.
That's rough though, because they would have been 13 and 12.
Yeah.
I still believe that somehow the Avatar will return to save the world.
Boom.
Boom.
What a great opening to a series. Like, it's just long enough where it's not an exposition dump.
Yeah.
And it perfectly sets the tone of the world.
Yeah.
And of course, the score is beautiful.
I mean, everything's beautiful. Like, this animation, because that stuck out to me immediately just from the commercials, that this is nothing like anything else that was on Nick at the time.
Yeah, are you ready to trigger our fan base?
What?
Is this considered an anime?
Considering the discourse revolving around American anime, counting towards the anime style, yes, at this point.
Interesting. I will not answer that question.
It's not getting away.
You baited me.
Watch and learn, Katara. This is how you catch a fish.
The goat, Sokka.
I just remember being excited because Jack DeSena was on the reboot of all that.
Yes.
And I immediately knew who he was.
I think he's magnificent in this role.
Tara, you're gonna scare it away.
As you guys can tell, Sokka is my favorite.
Hey!
Aww.
That was awesome.
It's not magic, it's water bending. And it's
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of magic, but it's just cooler. It involves martial arts.
I'm not the one who makes muscles at myself every time I see my reflection in the water.
Oh no.
Oh no.
What are those called? Slipstreams? Or something like that? I don't know. Someone in the comments let us know.
I was gonna say, you knew better than I did.
I think a slipstream is with air, though.
Go left!
Oh!
You are the most sexist, immature...
Yeah, call him out. Oh, nut-brained.
to be related to you.
Oh!
I even wash all the clothes.
Ew.
Smelled your dirty socks? Let me tell you, you're on your own.
Wow. Looking back on this, I realize now what an even bigger deal it is that she did that.
Yes. Yeah, it kind of hints at her role. Like, she's got a lot of potential as a waterbender. Oh.
Tara, get back here. We don't know what that thing is.
I mean, you know it's a person.
I think this scene does such a great job of informing us of their personalities very well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame him too much for at least being cautious about it.
Yeah, and that's
but...
very much Sokka. Sokka is strategic. He collects information, then acts. Katara's a little bit more impulsive.
She's impulsive, but it was due to compassion. She wanted to help him.
Yeah, but she's also still way more impulsive than Sokka. Oh, there he is.
Uncle, do you realize what this means?
Uncle.
I won't get to finish my game.
I mean, let's just say it now. Iroh is the GOAT of this show.
Iroh is realistically the GOAT of this whole series.
I don't want you to get too excited over nothing.
And again, this is another good way to explain what's going on without info dumping.
Yes.
Especially because they're not doing it all at once.
It's exposition through character development. Take a chill pill, Zooks.
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 Did you just come up with that?
Of course.
Aww.
I forgot how tiny he was.
Stop it! What is it? Will you go penguin sledding with me?
So this is weird way of like asking her out because he's immediately attracted to her.
Yeah, probably.
And why aren't you frozen?
I'm not sure.
Just the subtle animation is so good.
Wake up, buddy.
Appa, technically another goat of the series. The series has a lot of goats.
Then they're not goats then.
Yeah, they could all be goats.
Ew. It's so green.
Oh, and thick.
Don't answer that. Did you see that crazy bull?
Look, it came off him already.
Tell by that evil look in his eye.
And flew 10 feet in the air.
Really? It fell higher than that. Ride home, you know, before you freeze to death. Appa, yip yip.
Yep, yep. Man, it's so weird, like, experiencing these iconic moments again for the first time.
It is because for me it's been so long, so
Yip yip.
the details I need I need to remember, but so much of this, like, it feels like watching the first time all over again.
Why are you smiling at me like that? Oh, I was smiling?
Ugh.
Oh, Sokka.
Because their honor didn't hinge on the Avatar's capture. Mine does.
Honor.
If you had any idea what happened to the Avatar. No. Okay, just curious. Good night. Sleep tight.
Ooh, I think he knows more than he's letting them know.
Wow, you think?
Man, this Aang character, there's something more to him than meets the eye.
I know, it might even be in the title of the show or something.
He's Nickelodeon?
That's where they got the name from.
Nickelodeon's Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Ooh, thank goodness that Appa was included in that.
Yes. Well, I feel like the Avatar state would be able to consciously get Appa.
Oh yeah, I was being partly sarcastic.
Okay. Because theoretically, like, yeah, the Avatar state, he's at least all of some of the avatars would be consciously able to, whatever, we'll get to it.
Aang, this is my grandmother.
Call me Gran.
What was that sound effect?
Have anything with this?
Wow.
It's for airbending.
I mean, talk to Nami.
But I mean, how many things has she stabbed?
Humans can't fly.
Check again.
Get wrecked. That's so cool how they incorporate things like that, like actual scientific like basis for how they use their bending abilities.
Oh yeah, I mean we're gonna get to a lot of it later, but I love how they do that with all the types of bending.
Yes.
My watchtower.
Oh.
No more playing. Come on, Katara, you have chores.
I told you he's the.
So what are you gonna do with the kid then?
Leave him.
I sense he's filled with much wisdom.
I mean, he's Special. I mean, he's literally special if he's the only one of his kind remaining.
Yeah, he's definitely special.
Like, Grand is very cavalier about it.
Yes.
Get it right this time.
Enough.
But first, I must finish my roast duck.
I ain't even mad at him.
No.
Sounds good.
Food is important and duck is wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
How can we call ourselves men?
Aww.
I gotta pee. But I really gotta go.
I mean, adults and children all need to pee.
I mean, yeah.
So I don't know what he expects.
Wow, everything freezes in there.
Oh, God.
This lesson is for warriors only.
Whee!
Aww.
Have time for fun and games with a war going on?
What war?
I mean, what are the kids supposed to do?
It's just kind of, but it's. Oh, God.
He's kidding, right?
I don't think he was before.
Oh, my God. It's so weird, like, having commercials baked into these shows.
Oh, I know, because streaming took all of that away.
Hey, come
I know.
on, little guy.
Aw.
Ugh.
I forgot that they had more limbs, though.
Yeah, they're like fusion animals.
Mm-hmm.
What about the North Pole? Maybe they have waterbenders who could teach you. Maybe. Can you teach me to catch one of these penguins? Okay. Observed.
That would be terrifying.
I know. That's gotta hurt the
I
penguins.
was gonna say, like, does this technically constitute animal abuse?
Not if the animals are consenting.
I mean, yeah, which I agree with. It was more that they bribed them.
haven't done this since I...
Yeah, but they would definitely shake them off if it was that uncomfortable.
That's fair. I did forget this. When he said penguin sledding, I thought that they were gonna sled with them, not literally
No,
on top of them.
On top of them. But there was a very important line that just exchange, and it was, oh man, I used to do this so much when I was a kid. And he's like, you still are a kid, but it shows like how people have had to grow up in this war.
Yeah. I always took it to mean more like she's 14, so she's just being like uber technical. But I think that's also a good point because she
Yeah.
is kind of an adult in the tribe.
And it shows you Aang's journey of not wanting to accept that responsibility.
Yeah, he wants to be a kid.
Yeah. Maybe a little too much.
It's part of the Fire Nation's first attacks.
Jeez.
I think it was more like 100 years.
Oh God.
That's impossible. Do I look like a 112-year-old man to you? 100 years.
What a mind freak.
Aang.
Chris Angel mind freak.
I did get to meet you.
Aw. Dude, you're coming on a little too hard, dude.
I know. But wait, like here's
That's
actually...
what Sokka's a heartbender.
But I was about to say, has he not... He possibly has never met a woman before, though, right?
No, probably not, right. Well, I mean, he would have had to with, like, Boomy during his adventures with, like, Boomy, right?
Yeah, but not to the
Not
point where
like-
he developed
yeah.
any kind of relationship.
True, and I think it's also just shows, like, his zest for life, like, his
Yeah.
love for life.
Oh,
Oh,
no. Oh, this I remember very vividly.
Of course.
Quite agile for his old age. Tell him I found the Avatar.
That's a bit contradictory. First, he was worried that he would be too much of a master of the elements in spite of his age, because of his age, and now he's like, oh, he's agile. It's like,
Well, agility has nothing to do with bending, right?
yeah, but it's like, there would be the benefit, I guess.
What's gonna happen?
Oh, I don't know.
What a cliffhanger.
I think my main point is that it's just interesting, like, I think Zuko is, like, intimidated no matter what, but for him, like, in his mind thinking, like, oh, he's 112, like, it's very, like, it's interesting to think of his mindset, like, how he's gonna handle this.
I think Zuko is so... I think Zukus I think Zooks is so mission focused that he thinks he knows what to expect, but he has no idea what he should be expecting.
Oh, we know. We know.
So I think, but that's what I love so much about this first episode. It's so good at building the personalities of these characters with so little time, while also allowing them to give us exposition. Because like the stuff between Zuko and Iroh is so important to their characters, while also like letting us know like my honor hinges on finding the Avatar. My family's been trying to find the Avatar for years. Like I am Prince Zuko, obviously son of the king. So it lets us know that there's a lot going on there and a lot to unpack. And he's very impulsive and he's very stubborn. And I think he puts too much focus on finding the Avatar, and he doesn't like him and Aang are polar opposites, right? He focuses too much on his burden and his responsibility, where Aang doesn't want to focus at all on his burden or responsibility, and he's running from that as much as possible.
Right. And I think a lot of that for Zuko is, as we come to find out, is he doesn't know any differently. He knows that he needs to serve the Fire Nation and his father, and not having that, like, he can't conceptualize that, whereas Aang can more easily conceptualize something outside of what he's destined for, and that's what he believes he wants.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that they're two different people, and I think the show is so good at crafting characters and doing character work, and this whole episode was really character work, and we got a great sense of both Sokka and Katara's characters, and I love kind of us letting us know how dark this world is, while also having a lighthearted tone to the first episode, because there's little things in there that you can pick up on that really lets you know that this is a pretty dark world we're living in. Like the Katara's whole like, man, I used to do this when I was a kid. You're 14, you're still a kid.
Yeah.
It's just that she has so much responsibility now,
right?
Since her mother died and her father's gone.
Right, and I mean, that even extends to Sokka, because he's 15, but he's the oldest man in the tribe, so even if they're not necessarily, like, I'm sure there's some level of expectation, but that's why he kind of feels that inclination to lead the other little boys. Well,
it's not just an inclination, it's a burden of responsibility, the same way that Zuko kind of has it in his mind, like, all of the men are gone. Men are like, it's very primitive in design, but it's like, I'm the oldest male here. I have to make sure the men are ready to protect the woman. Meanwhile, Katara is clearly the strongest person like on that site, but she just doesn't have, because she's a woman and because she spends all of her time doing these chores and these feminine chores, she doesn't have time to build herself up into a warrior.
Right. Well, I think it's a combination of, I mean, she said it outright, is Sokka has the sexist attitude. I'm sure that extends to a lot of other tribe members.
It's spoiling the future, but we know how sexist and how patriarchal the Water Tribe is.
Right, but also even further to her disadvantage for the Southern Water Tribe specifically is being the only waterbender, and all of Sokka's demeaning comments about, oh, it's magic, it's nonsense. She also like has that against her, that they just kind of don't understand it either.
Well, they're just not supportive, because I'm sure that they could have. If they were, it really makes me wonder if Sokka was the one who was the waterbender. If maybe they would have let him travel the world.
Oh yeah, because if it were that case, then they'd probably look at more as like, oh, this is something that you as a man and a potential warrior could utilize. So
yeah,
there's a lot that's just kind of going against her. That's just not quite fair, but it's just more probably a product of like their time and culture.
Yeah, let's move away from gender politics right now, because we're gonna pick up on that way more heavily towards the end of season 1.
Oh yeah.
Let's talk about how amazing the details are in this show. Like the animation, the score.
Yes.
Like the animation is so crisp, so clean, so fluid. One thing I really love are how great the emotions are on the face, how great the animators are at emoting the faces of these characters.
Oh yeah. Well, you kind of like hinted on it, because I think regardless on anyone's take of the anime argument, what this animation style absolutely exhibits is kind of those exaggerated features, like when someone's reacting to something, like Sokka's eyes enlarging, like kind of popping up his head.
Like Aang, like, oh, does he look harmful? And Aang's eyes turn into like anime eyes.
Like they're cute, smiling.
Yeah, like magical girl anime eyes. Like it's just little stuff like that. It lasts for a split second or like maybe a couple of frames, but it's so perfect.
Right. It's one of those things where you could almost argue, like, is it necessary? not necessarily, but that's the thing. It's a picture's worth 1,000 words. It conveys so much with just one tweak to an existing character design.
Absolutely. It's fantastic. Like, one thing that, even watching this as a kid, one thing that really drew me into the show and made me continue to come back and made me fall in love with it is the attention to detail.
Mm-hmm.
Like each of these episodes are so thought out. Like Aang's bow staff that doubles as a glider. Love that. Love that they're using actual physics behind air movement and how an airbender, how realistically an airbender might be able to fly. Love that. I love that knowing that both water tribes are set on the poles, there was no nighttime in the episode. Like, we see Iroh say, "You need to get some rest, Zuko. I'm going to bed. Everyone needs their sleep." And it's perfectly bright out to let you know that most of the poles, like, there are periods where you have full day, 24 hours worth of night and full 24 hours worth of sunlight.
Right.
And I really love that attention to detail.
And I mean, even Sokka, like, brought up by mentioning how, I think he said midnight sun madness that he didn't want to get. And, like, that alone was already a clue. But, like you said, they just kind of wove that in very discreetly without... By the way, like, the sun isn't setting right now.
For a show that was advertised for kids, they never dumb it down. And that's what makes this show stand the test of time. Yeah. It was never dumbed down for its audience.
No.
It talked to children like they were intelligent enough to interpret the show. And as a child, that's what made me love it, because I didn't feel like I was watching pot to the face, like a silly kid show. Like, this was a fun show, but it also never talked down to me. Like, I was less than what I was supposed to be.
Yeah, like, none of the jokes, like, some of them are a little bit silly, like the potty break joke, but that's also kind of like a natural piece of humor where it's like, if you're gonna round up like 6 little boys, I think that's gonna naturally come up at some point. So none of it, like, it was never forced. It all just felt so woven in so naturally. Yeah,
and I think that, like, little stuff like that hides the darkness, the inherent darkness of this world, because these are kids that should be having fun. That's why they gravitate towards Aang, because he's reintroducing this fun into life that they haven't had for months.
Right.
Because their fathers are gone and they've had to run these drills with Sokka every day, which is inherently a very dark thing to think about. But they cut that darkness with that sense of levity.
Right.
So they don't make you dwell on it, which is it's really good writing and pacing and world building. And I love, like, I'm getting goosebumps just from this first half of episode 1. It's so good.
And what's crazy is, like, we know it gets even better than this.
Yeah, this first episode holds up just as well as I thought it did, possibly even better. The pacing was fantastic. It gives you just enough. It tells you everything you need to know about these characters for the next episode. 100% as perfect as I thought it would be.
Absolutely. I loved it back then, and I love it just as much as I do now. But it is, like you said, interesting to kind of see it from the angle as an adult to see how well it holds up. Because I feel like that's almost a good litmus test.
Yeah.
Because nostalgia is a powerful thing, but I think this way transcends that.
Yes. If you guys liked the video, make sure to give it a huge thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay up to date on all of our latest content. If you want to catch our next Avatar reaction, click the link on the page. And until next time, guys, stay versed and may the power protect.